Hail and well met, friends. I'm Michael from the Secret Fire podcast, and I'm beginning a new video series intended to supplement that show. I want you and I to take a closer look at the man who created Middle-earth, Arda, Ea, the legendarium that we love so well. Keep in mind that I'm no scholar. You want Tom Shippey, Corey Olsen, Michael Drought, and others for scholarship. No, I'm a fan, plain and simple. And that is what you can expect from me. A look at J.R.R. Tolkien, the man, from my perspective as a fan. That rhymes, though wholly unintended. And as a fan, my perspective will be different from yours, and I think that this is what will make this series hopefully interesting to you. I have been a Middle-earthling for 40 years. Ever since first seeing the 1977 Rankin Bass Hobbit animated feature, I've been captivated by hobbits and wizards, dwarves and elves, dragons and mountain kingdoms, treasure and quests, and especially the Shire. As I grew, so did my appreciation for the creator, or as he would say, the sub-creator of this fantastic, rich, incredibly detailed world filled with song, magic, and a deep history, replete with love and loss, sacrifice and heroism, a fight for that which is true and honorable, what is right and pure, lovely, of good repute and excellent, the things that most of us can agree are worthy of praise. I want to know more and more about J.R.R. Tolkien for many reasons, and those reasons will become more apparent as this series progresses. But one reason is that I identify with the professor. Not his genius, certainly. I identify with his personality. I also greatly admire Tolkien's close friend C.S. Lewis, but I'm not anything like Jack, as his friends and family called him. He was a gregarious, boisterous man, loud, not necessarily in an offensive manner, usually, but Tolkien doesn't appear to be that sort of personality. Kind and friendly, to be sure, but more introverted as a dominant trait. Jack Lewis appeared to be able to think equally well out loud or internally. Tolkien seemed to prefer a quiet place to create his legendarium. I like how philosopher Peter Kraft describes J.R.R. Tolkien in his lecture, Christianity and Lord of the Rings. He says, Tolkien was wise, good, lovable. He was also endlessly niggling, procrastinating, cantankerous, dysfunctional, grouchy, despairing, obstinate, and depressive. I can relate to that. I've been described in similar fashion. Well, maybe not wise, but this makes me believe that Professor Tolkien and I could enjoy a pleasant conversation in The Bird and Baby. Not only that, but he and I share something else. He was a self-professed hobbit, and I, too, am a hobbit. In October 1958, Tolkien wrote a letter in reply to one Deborah Webster. Apparently, she wanted to know more about J.R.R. Tolkien the man, just as I do. And he wrote back. Thankfully, we have a collection of letters written by Tolkien which spans a great many years. The Letters of J.R.R. Tolkien, edited by Humphrey Carpenter, is a source every bit as valuable as the hoarded treasures of Erebor. That is, if you are a fan of the professor and not just his stories. In letter number 213, in the third paragraph, Tolkien wrote to Miss Webster, quote, I am in fact a hobbit in all but size. I like gardens, trees, and unmechanized farmlands. I smoke a pipe, and I like good plain food, unrefrigerated, but detest French cooking. I like and even dare to wear in these dull days ornamental waistcoats. I am fond of mushrooms out of a field. Have a very simple sense of humor, which even my appreciative critics find tiresome. I go to bed late and get up late when possible. I do not travel much. This is a clear lens through which we can see and perceive J.R.R. Tolkien the man. He was a hobbit. He wrote himself into that unobtrusive but very ancient people, as he described in the prologue to The Lord of the Rings. He goes further in describing hobbits as being more numerous formally than they are today, for they love peace and quiet and good tilled earth. A well-ordered and well-farmed countryside was their favorite haunt. They do not and did not understand or like machines more complicated than a forge bellows, a water mill, or a hand loom. This sounds much like the self-description he provided Deborah Webster in 1958. Let's keep this in mind as we look deeper into the letters of J.R.R. Tolkien. They give us a great insight into the man by way of personal correspondence with readers, his publishers, his family. The letters between he and son Christopher Tolkien are a treasure trove and worth the price of this book alone. In them, we learn Tolkien's thoughts on war, specifically World War II, his thoughts on empty kegs of beer, of gardens, of Middle-earth, and many more things. The more we know about J.R.R. Tolkien, the more we learn about Middle-earth. And I want you to come on this journey with me. I'll try to keep these videos short, just a handful of minutes, and right now I'm not sure of the release schedule, but stick with me, and if you like this series, we'll get ourselves into a good groove. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel on YouTube and click the bell icon so that you'll receive notification each time we release a video. While you're at it, check out the Secret Fire podcast, where we're going book by book, chapter by chapter through the Lord of the Rings. It's available in your favorite podcast app. Thank you for watching. Join me next time as we get to know J.R.R. Tolkien a little bit better. And until then, fare you well, fare you well. Should I have worn my Gandalf hat for this video? I should have. Maybe next time. Oh, and my staff. This is how I should have done the video.